Stoicism, at its core, teaches us to seek truth and live in harmony with nature. A central principle is distinguishing what is within our control from what is not. But when it comes to interpersonal dynamics, such as gaslighting and self-deception, the lines between reality and illusion often blur. How do we discern whether we're being manipulated or if we're deceiving ourselves? This question isn't just philosophical. It's deeply practical. In this video, we'll explore how Stoicism can help us navigate gaslighting, understand the role of self-deception, and uncover the brutal truth about what it means to live authentically. What is gaslighting, and why does it hurt so much? Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where someone attempts to make you question your reality. This can involve outright lies, the denial of undeniable facts, or the distortion of events to fit their narrative. For example, they might claim that never happened, even when the event is well documented, or they could undermine your memory by insisting you're imagining things. Over time, this consistent undermining corrodes your trust in your own perception and judgment. At its core, gaslighting attacks one of the most fundamental aspects of our humanity, the ability to rely on our minds. By distorting your reality, the manipulator seeks to control your thoughts and, ultimately, your decisions. This leads to feelings of confusion, self-doubt, and emotional instability. From a Stoic perspective, gaslighting is particularly insidious because it undermines rationality, the cornerstone of a virtuous and meaningful life. Stoics believe that reason is the guiding principle that enables us to navigate the world and make sound choices. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, emphasized, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Yet, how can one react wisely if their sense of what happened has been intentionally skewed? Gaslighting preys on our vulnerabilities, exploiting our natural desire for clarity and connection. When someone manipulates your reality, it creates a sense of dependency on them for the truth, making it harder to untangle yourself from their influence. This is why it's critical from a Stoic standpoint to ground ourselves in clear and rational thinking. Stoics encourage us to develop a strong inner compass, one rooted in the pursuit of truth and self-awareness. While we cannot control whether others attempt to manipulate us, we can strengthen our ability to detect and resist manipulation by consistently practicing rational analysis and reflection. The role of self-deception. While gaslighting involves manipulation by others, self-deception is the internal counterpart, a battle we wage within ourselves. It occurs when we unconsciously twist the truth, either to protect ourselves from emotional discomfort or to preserve a narrative that feels more convenient or less painful than reality. Unlike gaslighting, which originates from an external source, self-deception is a self-inflicted wound, often hidden under layers of rationalization and denial. Consider this common scenario. You rationalize someone's toxic behavior by telling yourself, they're just having a bad day or they didn't mean it. While this may seem harmless, it often stems from an unwillingness to face a deeper, more troubling truth, that this person's actions are consistently harmful and that change may be necessary. This avoidance spares you temporary discomfort but traps you in a cycle of suffering, perpetuating illusions that block growth and clarity. Seneca famously wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Self-deception feeds this imagined suffering by painting distorted pictures of the world that keep us tethered to unproductive emotions like fear, guilt, or resentment. It convinces us to delay confronting uncomfortable truths, making us passive participants in our own unhappiness. This is particularly insidious because, unlike gaslighting, where manipulation is imposed upon us, self-deception is an act of collusion with our inner fears. From a Stoic perspective, self-deception is antithetical to a life of virtue and reason, to live in accordance with nature. As Stoicism teaches, requires unflinching honesty with oneself. The practice of self-reflection, a cornerstone of Stoicism, is essential to this process. By regularly examining our actions, beliefs, and motives, we can uncover where we might be distorting the truth to suit our emotions. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom highlights the Stoic approach to self-deception, shifting our focus from what we wish were true to what is true. By cultivating self-awareness, we gain the courage to face uncomfortable realities and take proactive steps toward growth. Ultimately, the path out of self-deception is through honesty, self-discipline, and a commitment to rational thinking. It requires the strength to sit with discomfort, the humility to admit when we're wrong, and the wisdom to let go of illusions that no longer serve us. Only then can we achieve a life that aligns with reality and the principles of Stoicism. Is it them or you? A Stoic framework for clarity. When you find yourself questioning whether you're being gaslit or deceiving yourself, the answer is often unclear, especially in emotionally charged situations. Gaslighting and self-deception share a common trait. They distort reality. Whether these distortions come from others or originate within us, the result is confusion and uncertainty. The Stoics offer a framework for navigating these challenges by focusing on objectivity, detachment, and guidance. Examine the evidence objectively. The first step is to step back and assess the situation with a rational and impartial mind. Marcus Aurelius emphasized, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change." This highlights the Stoic commitment to truth, no matter how inconvenient or painful it may be. To apply this principle, ask yourself, what are the facts of the situation? Am I interpreting events based on clear evidence or allowing my emotions to color my perceptions? Is there a pattern of behavior I am ignoring or rationalizing? Objectivity requires practice and a willingness to accept that our initial impressions might be flawed. By keeping a journal or engaging in reflective writing, a technique Marcus Aurelius used himself, you can untangle the threads of emotion and reason. This practice brings clarity, allowing you to identify whether the source of distortion is external manipulation or internal resistance to truth. Detach from the outcome. Often, our inability to see clearly is tied to emotional attachment. We cling to certain beliefs or relationships because releasing them feels too painful or threatens our sense of identity. However, Stoicism teaches that suffering arises not from external events, but from our attachment to them. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means focusing on what is real and within your control. Ask yourself, if I discovered the truth, whether I am being gaslit or self-deceiving, what would I need to do next? Am I afraid of the consequences that come with acknowledging the truth? Detachment is about aligning with reality rather than resisting it. If you determine you are being gaslit, you might need to set boundaries or remove yourself from the toxic dynamic. If you discover self-deception, you might need to make internal changes, like facing uncomfortable emotions or reevaluating long-held beliefs. Either way, the truth is your greatest ally, not your enemy. Consult a trusted guide. No one sees clearly in isolation. Even the Stoic sages sought counsel and challenged their perceptions by consulting wise mentors or philosophical principles. As Epictetus recommended, seek the company of those who improve you. A trusted guide could be a mentor, therapist, or even a close friend who values honesty and clarity. The key is to seek someone who is impartial and grounded in reason, rather than someone who might affirm your biases. A clear-sighted observer can help you detect patterns you've missed or challenge your assumptions in constructive ways. Similarly, turning to Stoic texts or exercises can provide timeless wisdom to guide your reasoning. The Stoic framework isn't about pointing fingers or assigning blame. It's about uncovering the truth and responding with reason and virtue. The goal is to free yourself from distortion, whether imposed by others or created by your own mind. By examining the evidence objectively, detaching from emotional outcomes, and seeking guidance, you reclaim the power to navigate complexity with clarity and confidence. Building resilience against manipulation. Gaslighting and self-deception thrive when we are caught off guard, mentally unprepared, or overly reliant on external validation. To navigate and resist these forces, Stoicism provides powerful tools to develop clarity, strength, and emotional resilience. Let's explore 3 key practices for fortifying your mind against manipulation and deception. Practice mindfulness through daily reflection. One of the cornerstones of Stoic philosophy is mindfulness, the consistent effort to bring awareness to your thoughts and actions. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, emphasized the importance of examining your day, reflecting on how you responded to events, whether you acted according to reason, and where you might have strayed from your principles. To practice mindfulness, set aside time each evening to review the day. What emotions or reactions dominated my day? Did I notice any contradictions between what I observed and how others tried to frame situations? Was I honest with myself and others? By training yourself to reflect regularly, you build a habit of catching manipulative patterns or self-deceptive tendencies early. Over time, this mindfulness strengthens your ability to stay grounded in truth, even when confronted with complex or conflicting circumstances. Cultivate inner strength by focusing on what you control. Resilience against manipulation begins with understanding the Stoic dichotomy of control, the recognition that some things are within your power, your thoughts, actions, and reactions, while others are not others' opinions, actions, or judgments. This mindset reminds you that no one can control your rational mind unless you allow them to. When faced with attempts to manipulate you, pause and ask yourself, is this situation something I can influence or change? How can I focus my energy on actions aligned with my values? Gaslighters often try to destabilize your sense of autonomy. By reminding yourself that your responses are always within your control, you can stay grounded, refusing to give power to their distortions. Similarly, recognizing self-deception involves taking ownership of the narratives you create in your own mind. Developing inner strength requires a commitment to honest self-reflection and the courage to act on that clarity. Accept the reality of human imperfection. Both gaslighters and those who deceive themselves act out of fear, insecurity, or ignorance. Stoicism teaches us to see human frailty for what it is, a common condition. While this doesn't excuse harmful behavior, it allows us to approach such challenges with a sense of detachment and compassion. When someone attempts to manipulate you, instead of reacting with anger or resentment, consider, are they acting out of their own misunderstanding or pain? How can I protect myself while maintaining my composure and dignity? Seneca reminds us, it is the power of a great mind to rise above insults. Resilience doesn't mean becoming invulnerable. It means refusing to let others' flaws control your inner peace. By accepting imperfection, you reduce unnecessary suffering caused by holding unrealistic expectations of others or yourself. Additional practices for resilience: strengthen your core principles, regularly revisit the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. A strong moral foundation creates a compass to navigate situations where reality feels uncertain. Limit emotional reactivity. Practice techniques such as deep breathing or counting before responding to emotionally charged situations. Staying calm keeps your reasoning clear and prevents manipulation from taking root. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Spend time with people who value honesty, clarity, and reason. Their presence can act as a buffer against toxicity while also reinforcing your commitment to truth and integrity. Building resilience isn't about erecting walls around yourself or becoming cynical. It's about preparing your mind to face life with wisdom and strength, regardless of the challenges you encounter. By practicing mindfulness, focusing on what you can control, and understanding human imperfection, you can rise above manipulation and self-deception, living a life of greater authenticity and virtue. Living authentically in a complex world. The world is full of challenges to our perception, from external manipulation to the lies we tell ourselves. But Stoicism offers a path to clarity. By seeking truth, practicing self-awareness, and grounding ourselves in rationality, we can navigate even the most confusing situations with grace and strength. So, is it them or you? The answer may be both. But through the lens of Stoicism, the more important question is, what will you do with this knowledge? The answer lies in your commitment to truth and virtue. Gaslighting and self-deception distort your reality. But with Stoicism, you can see clearly and live authentically. Embrace truth, take control, and align your life with reason. If this resonated, like and follow for more Stoic wisdom. Leave a comment below. What's your biggest takeaway?